Hey guys, it's Steven here, and today I'm back with another movie review, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Promise. So The Promise is directed by Terry George, and is set in the final days of the Ottoman Empire in 1915, while the Armenian genocide was going on. It was this time in history when a whole bunch of Armenian, men, women, and children were basically being slaughtered by the Turks. And caught in the middle of all this, you have Oscar Isaac's character, who really dreams of being a doctor. He wants to have a future in medicine. It's like his passion, his love. He's a medical student, but he ends up falling in love with Charlotte LeBon, but she can't be in love with him because she is in love with Christian Bale, and so now we have a love triangle, but at the same time they have to set aside their differences during this terrible event. So, guys, let's get into it. First, let's start off with the acting. I think easily one of, if not the best part about this movie, are the two performances of Oscar Isaac and Christian Bale. They're both really good, and Oscar Isaac especially, he really surprised me. Like, I was unaware of his accent in the movie, and his accent was perfect. And Christian Bale in the movie, well, I mean, he's Christian Bale, okay? He's great as he always is. And I thought Charlotte LeBon also, she was good. The chemistry between the actors was pretty good, but at the same time, there's a few side characters who, in the first act, they don't really matter, or you don't really know much about them, but it's not until the towards the end of the second act where they really start to matter. And that kind of turned me off with the movie. Oscar Isaac has this best friend character, and it's in the beginning, they kind of had a good friendship, but between when he's shown in the first act and then towards the end of the second act, he just disappears completely, and I was a little bit upset with that. But I'd say he was fine for the most part. The actor, I don't remember his name, but I'd say he was decent. So as far as the acting goes, I'd say it was solid. Next, let's move on to the directing. Now, Terry George is primarily known as the writer of Hotel Rwanda, and he also co-wrote the script for this movie. Now, I haven't seen Hotel Rwanda. I hear it's a great film, so I can't comment. But I'd say, overall with this movie, there are a few scenes he's good at, structuring, and he's good at directing actors, or some actors, but overall, I feel like he didn't do that great of a job of telling a cohesive story, which the story I'll get into in a second. But overall, I'd say his direction was decent for the most part, but not perfect. So moving on to the script and the story. Now, the story, we've seen this story told a bunch of times, okay, with movies like Titanic and Pearl Harbor, where it's there's this romance or a love triangle set in this disastrous time period, and overall, the love story in this movie, it honestly felt pointless. It honestly did not impact the story in any way. It's not really in depth. There's this one scene between Oscar Isaac and Charlotte LeBon, where they have this romance, but it's never explained later, and it doesn't play into the third act of the movie. And I'd say the dialogue was solid, but the problem was really, really the story. Excuse me for saying the word twice. But overall, the script and stories, eh. Now moving on to the technical qualities. Now I will say this movie, it's well shot, and it has good production design. The costumes and everything, it looks great, okay? It looks like, 1915 Turkey. And that's one of the best things about the movie. But I think the reason why this movie falls apart is the editing. The editing in this movie is so, choppy and so poor that it was honestly starting to get on my nerves, and it frustrated me. And it was 45 minutes into the movie, I, pretty much, checked out of it. It's because the movie was so incoherent and messy, and that's because of the editing and the way the movie was cut together. So, like, and that's why the story was a giant mess. It's because of that editing. And, like, there are these scenes, like, in the beginning that, like, progress and they just don't, like, they're skimmed over, basically. And that's why this movie really does misfire. So overall, The Promise was a movie, it had some potential, it looked promising. That was a bad joke. Um, but like it had good acting, it had some good set design, but really, really bad storytelling and poor and choppy as all hell editing. So overall, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give The Promise a grade of a C minus. So, guys, let me know down in the comment section below. What is your favorite period piece uh, love story? For me, mine would probably be Titanic. So, thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.